on the corner of Killingsworth and MLK?
Oh, yes.
You remember it was exactly, was it 25 years ago this week that we started that community committee that you were on?
I got the videotape.
Yeah.
I was looking at it the other day.
Exactly. You remember we created a community
That's
committee.
Right. That's right.
So that PDC
That's right.
could come to the community every week and
Yep.
give an update
That's right.
on the development of the police station. And because of your work and because of your ideas, look what they did. I mean, they're all gone now, but they filled that place up with black businesses.
Yeah.
And that was the first time the city had ever done anything like that successful, plus built the police station. And you were very influential in that committee. You remember you were the vice chair. You remember that? You were very influential in that. And because of that, we had that coffee shop owned by O.B. Hill and Gloria McMurtry.
Yep, remember that one?
We had the pastry shop.
Yep.
Remember, we had the frame shop.
Yep.
You know, and everything,
Yep.
and the anchor.
Yep.
The anchor was that Videorama.
That's right.
That was before they got bought out by Blockbuster.
Right.
But
right,
still,
exactly.
you helped bring that in 1993.
Right. Right.
Look at how many people benefited from that from the community. And that project is one of the reasons why Inner Northeast Portland started changing to the beautiful area that it is today.
Right.
You were involved in that.
Absolutely.
You know, so your partnership with business and public, working with PDC and small business people, nobody running against you has any type of background like that. They should be ashamed of themselves if they say they do, because they don't. I've checked. Okay? Now, do you remember doing that? Let me ask you this. If you remember doing that, what do you remember
About that piece?
About that piece?
Well, in all due respect, it was sort of a package kind of a deal, because as you note, Walnut Park, you know, that was one of the presenters when I got your video about the fact that my plan to put that 38 units sitting up in there. Remember that? The other one was the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
A good friend of mine, again, former Marine, got me, was chair of the Boys and Girls Club. And they were going to put it up in St. John. And the whole idea was the safety issue and that's with the police there and this, that, and the other. That's why they moved it there.
Good.
They were going to move it up there in the St. John area.
Okay.
And we got it. We got it.
And you got it right there at MLK.
Right there at MLK. We put that. I was on the committee at Boys and Girls Club, and Chuck McCullough, who was a dear friend, who was chairman of the Boys and Girls Club, sold them the fact that it would be a far better fit on MLK and Killingsworth with this other packet aspect of it.
It was.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
It
was a good deal. So
It gave kids in that area some place to go.
that's right,
Some
exactly.
opportunities for mentorship.
that's
Absolutely.
right.
Some
And diverse.
engagement,
And
and it was very diverse.
Very diverse, because the whole idea was near the police department, and then all due respect, white family was going to bring their kids there too. It wasn't just a black thing.
Yeah, a lot of white
You know,
families brought their
they,
kids
they
there.
brought their kids there, and this was District 18 at the time too.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Because the Observer, you know, I was there at the Observer, and you know, the whole idea there was, why not put together a community, a well-diverse community, in an assimilated kind of a feature, you know what I'm saying? Rather just a black community, but a community where a number of the residents happen to be black. Therefore, the possibility is someone from a diverse standpoint would be able to get elected.
Well, you know, let's talk about it. You brought up District 18. You know, we talked a little bit about it last time. And that's something about you that I'm extremely proud of.
Oh, really?
That you've done, because the way I look at it, creating that district brought so many minorities into politics in Oregon, and that's a very difficult thing to do. And even the fact that right now, it's a Native American woman, very nice woman. You know, I met her last year.
She's been in quite
and
some time,
and
20
she's done
years
she's represented the district very well.
Yes.
I mean, but I look at her and going, she can't understand that she wouldn't have this job. She wouldn't have had this opportunity had it not been for you. Now, you want to talk about that?
Well, you know, again, like I said, being at the Observer, I always felt very strong about the fact that the community needed, if you will, a newspaper communication piece to educate people about what this community is, the pluses and minuses. And as you know, urban renewal money had to come to that area first.
Yep.
Got me? And then spread it out. And so I thought it was a very, very important piece. And then naturally the whole development piece, like you said, the PDC piece aspect of it, because PDC was supposed to respond to lack of home ownership in that whole area. You know what I mean? Get them out of a renting situation to owning some of that dirt. And I felt very strong about that. And so as a result of that, the 18th thing was kind of like that connection between the governor the governor's office, and the area. Because as you know, it was a little difficult trying to get the right person to run for office during that time. And in all due respect, I think about Ron Herndon during that time. He was new, Black United Front aspect of it, the whole idea, and we talked a little bit about it. I said, wouldn't it have been, as I think about it today, wouldn't it have been an ideal situation had he put representative in front of his name? That would have been a very interesting piece.
That would be a good question to ask him.
It would have been.
How come he never did anything like that?
Yeah, but my point is that he was just as young as I was, and just like yourself, we were out there doing things. You were doing things too. So the whole idea is that, but he opted not to, because he had another venture in terms of Head Start, which I thought was very important with reference to the youth. But we missed out. We didn't have anyone to really relate to the community. I mean, you were there too, but we were all young warriors, if you will, at the time. And so, so that was the whole idea in terms of making sure that we got representation in that community, and make sure that people were able to own the dirt, not rent the dirt, own the dirt. Very, very important. And as you know, Neil Kelly took quite a bit of advantage of that situation during that time.
Oh, he owned a lot of real estate going back to the 50s.
But he was also heavily involved in PDC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
he owned a lot of real estate, and Neil was quite a guy, and he gave back to the community.
Oh yeah, no, I love Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, Neil and I talked quite a bit about it. You know what I'm saying?
Neil Kelly, I wish he was here to see all this.
Oh yeah, very. Well, his sons are doing it.
Yeah, his sons are doing outstanding. I mean, I can't say nothing. There's never been a Kelly I've met that I didn't like. Yeah. They're incredible people.
They participated.
Now Bruce, you've also the only candidate, period, running for any position in Portland that's built an apartment building. You built an old folks home. Yeah. Can you talk about that? Now think about it, friends. With all this housing issues that we've got in Portland, people, worried about their rents going up, people worried about being able to find a place large enough for their families to live in it. This is a guy who's actually built an apartment building, and he built it during our first major recession in 50 years, in the early 80s. Those of you who are new to Portland may not know that in the early 80s, Portland, Oregon went through a massive recession that lasted about 5 or 6 years. It was not as bad as the last one we had because it was a little different, but it caused a lot of stress when it came to housing, quality housing to live in. During that recession, Bruce built an apartment building. Can you talk about that?
Well, in all due respect, it was kind of like a commitment between me and my wife. It was a commitment to community. And as you know, Fred, I was in the housing business, so to speak, with Herman Plummer. Remember that? I was working for Herman in many ways. And
the late, great Herman Plummer.
Great Herman Plummer. And so I got into real estate and bought real estate. And so the whole idea is, what's my next step? And I started thinking about community. I started thinking about older folks living in their homes and this, that, and the other, nowhere to go. And the thought was, okay, fine. If I did senior citizen housing, low-income housing for senior citizens from that particular community, they could leave that home and then sell it to a younger person or a family member, this, that, and the other. And that was the thought. So I basically liquidated all my properties because it was tough during that particular time. And it was just a private venture.
Bruce, we had 20% interest rates then.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why I'm impressed with. Now, developers that may see this, this man built an apartment building when there was interest rates of 20%. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you think developing today is complicated with the interest rate environment we got today, imagine the experience of developing an apartment building with 20% interest rates.
Well, it was heavy. It was heavy.
And it's still there. It's right behind the police station. And it's provided housing for probably thousands of people over the last 37 years.
Diverse now.
Well, no, very diverse.
Oh, yeah, very diverse. I mean, my first plan was to, had it not been that, you say that 20%, I was going to develop the whole block.
Wow.
I was going to develop the whole block. The whole idea was to have some safety within the middle, see? And then try to get the urban league. I was going to pull the urban league. And they were going to be at the bottom providing services, see, to seniors across the board. Well, naturally, as you know, that didn't happen. And then Neil had some other ideas at the time. He was kind of like a young Turk himself in many ways. But today, we talk about it every so often, aspect of it. But the bottom line, it's done, and I just, it's just something that I felt good about. I have no problem liquidating my properties because I could have just retired right then and there. But it was, the heck with it.
Well, friends, that's why I wanted to point this out. This is what offends me so much about the white people that run our media and about the white people that run our unions. Just look at the experience this man has had. And this is experience that the people of Multnomah County need now. Things are so complicated because things are so expensive.
It is,
And
it is.
We've got so many people now not so much in need of a handout or nothing,
Amen.
but there's a lot of things that 30 years ago was easy to obtain, easy to afford.
That's true.
That are a lot more expensive today.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to see our sewer bills go up. And we're one of the most expensive areas in the United States
big time.
when it comes to water and sewer bill.
Big time.
You know, and that's going to put upward pressure on rents for everybody. But imagine if you make less than 75 grand a year and your city's going to bump your water bill almost 10%.
Right.
The point I'm getting to is it's experience that helps figure out problems like that, help avoid problems like that. And also, if you look at everything we've talked about, Bruce has always tried to do something for the person down below, for the person that's got the most pressure against them, the biggest odds against them. You know, and that's what I was saying. It's like, people are like, you know, the other day we're bragging, Oregon's one of the states that's got a Native American in the legislature.
That's
I
right.
say, well, yeah, we got one. But look, think about it. Since 1859, this is our first one. And you know how it got there? Bruce Broussard.
Well, you know, I don't take credit, that kind of a situation, you know.
But you should take it, because these racist white guys that run our media, they're never going to give you credit.
Right, that's true.
They're never going to give you credit, and black people don't even expect them to change. That, you know, the only thing we can hope for is that, you know, they get, you know, one of the cancers like gonad cancer or something like that and just go away. Because these people, they're in their 50s and 60s. They are not changing anytime soon.
That's true. That's
so, you know, don't expect them to change. Don't humiliate the black community to sit around and even expect these people to be like, hey, I've been doing something wrong. They're not. Well, now, let's get into some other stuff you've done. Bruce, let's get into the work that you've done on the Oregon Voters Digest show. I mean, to me, that thing is a living history. I mean, no black person in Oregon history has talked to and engaged with so many people on such a wide scope, so integrated. What made you create the Oregon Voters Digest?
Well, in all due respect, I was, you know, my wife and I, we owned the Portland Observer newspaper, and the guy who was publishing the Oregon Voters Digest, by the way, that was, in all due respect, conceptually, that was the first Blue Book of Oregon. It goes back, the first Blue Book of Oregon. Yes, it goes back that many. I mean, in the private sector had put it together, but the whole idea, it was kind of like a Reader's Digest piece with all of the elected officials in there and everything about Oregon and whatever. It's a beautiful piece, and it came out with different sections. But the bottom line is that he got his typesetting from me.
Really?
He got his typesetting, the guy who owned it.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him, you know, and we got to become friends and whatever. And so at the end of the day, he was aging at that point in time. He said, Bruce, how would you like to go on and own the Oregon Voters Digest? Why don't you join me?
Now, friends, you understand this? This Oregon Voters Digest, to all of you who've been watching the show, it's just a TV show. Right. But what Bruce is explaining, the history goes back over 100 years. It was an actual publication. The Oregon Blue Book is the book that has everything about Oregon politics in it. You're down in the Capitol, you pick up one, everybody in politics has got one. It's got names, phone numbers, addresses, everything, descriptions, everything. It's even got a glossary. Before that, there was the Oregon Voters Digest. And what year did you bring the Oregon Voters Digest to television?
It was about 83, 84. During that time? 84, 85. I mean, it was a long time ago. And what's so neat about that whole piece with the digest piece, the other thought I had was I had to bring folks of importance, you know, governors and these interviews to the area. Because it's always been a kind of a hands-off, don't get involved, it's the black community and this, that, and the other. We were just folks, got me? And so as a result of that, I've interviewed everybody from Vicatia to, you know, all of them from that point on down aspect of it.
Several times.
Tom Hall, McCall. I mean, I've done the whole 9 yards, and senators and Ron Wydens and the Earl Blumenauers. I mean, it was
I saw a video clip you showed once. I mean, you had Ron Wyden when he was a youngin.
Oh yes,
we're talking about like 19. Ron, he was a youngin. He was a buck.
Yeah, right. You know, he was a very interesting guy. In fact, he was on the show at least once a month or twice a month. Aspect of it when he was a representative. See, and when he ran against Bob Duncan, remember that?
Yep.
Duncan was the representative at that time.
I want you to think about this. Ron Wyden has been a Portland politician for over 40 years.
Oh yeah.
Early on, one of his supporters was Bruce.
Oh yeah, big time.
And Ron Wyden has served the state, the city very well.
Oh, big time.
I don't think
big time.
You're not always going to agree with Ron, but you're never ever going to be able to doubt his heart and his accomplishments. And think what he's doing right now. He's helping Loretta Smith run for Portland City Council, a black woman. Run for. We've never had a black woman on Portland City Council ever. I don't even think we've had a black female chief of staff at City Hall ever.
I think so. You're right. You're right.
You know,
no, you're right.
we've generally speaking, black women, I mean, God bless them, they've gotten some nice jobs and some good jobs in the city, but the powers that be never really give black women really any say-so. They don't give women that much say-so until maybe, I think, what's her name got on there?
Well, Freddie Petite was there. Yeah, well, Freddie Petite was kind of neat, you know, but they still didn't promote her.
They could
at the
ignore her
top of the
anytime
deal.
they wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I'm getting to is this is a change. This is what happens when people do things that change the community. This is one of the early supporters of Ron Wyden.
Yep,
you know,
sure did, yeah.
Ron Wyden lived up to that support and become a very good leader in our state. And now Ron Wyden is passing it forward with Loretta Smith. And you were part of it.
Oh, yeah, very much so. In fact, I might add, too, that at one point in time, I ran for that position. I ran for U.S. Senate, and I was well qualified, but the idea I was competing in the primary with other Republicans during that particular time. And it was kind of interesting how it happened. I went to the Republican Party because they called me because they wanted a face. Said, Bruce, why not go down and fill the hole and run against Ron? I said, well, let's put it this way. Why don't you go around the state to find out what other Republicans want to run? And if they want to run, let them run. But I don't want any opposition. If I'm going to run against them, let me run in the general. So I did that, but at the end of the day, they put 4 or 5 Republicans to run against me. At the end of the day, I still ended number 2, but the fact of the matter is, it gave me the opportunity to share with the public across the state that they were a person of color. You know what I mean? And that was good. You know, that was good stuff. But anyway, Ron is still solid as a rock, and we still see one another.
Ron's a good man.
That's wonderful. Yes.
Now, another thing a lot of people don't know about you is that you're a business owner, several times owner. But what I want to talk about is your business, Norma's Kitchen, that was located on Jansen Beach. Those of you who used to go to Jansen Beach, the old Safeway, it was right across the parking lot from the old Safeway.
Yeah, that's right.
What year did you open up Norma's Kitchen?
Oh, gee, Fred. Well, that's 12 years ago.
21 years ago?
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
And what kind of food did you serve?
Creole.
Creole,
yeah, because my wife and I, we're both from Louisiana, Creole, and you know, she's an excellent cook. I mean, she's a dietitian, the whole 9-yard aspect of it. And it was a nice, neat little place to go. I did the selling and the cleanup, and she did the cooking.
Good team.
And then Eugene Richard did the music.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep. I miss those days when you would have people out there in the
outside,
patio,
outside on the patio,
right
playing,
next to the water.
And it was a good draw. You know what I mean?
Draw.
And it was a place to go.
And it was good food.
It was good food. Good food. I mean, she got so excited about it, but unfortunately, she got into the situation with her hip, you know, on that cement and whatever. So at the end of the day, we closed it up because we couldn't find anybody that meet her qualification for the food. Plus the fact it was so active, and I'm still active. I was.
But how many employees do you? You had several people work for her.
Oh yeah, several. In fact, we even had some Latinos there. We had women, we had young men, and I started reaching out to the homeless during that particular time. They all had respect for me. I let them $5, but they brought it back at the end of the day. They had no problem with folks coming in and messing with my customers or nothing.
Now, friends, think about this. He created a business. He created jobs.
Yeah.
It became a neighborhood
hangout.
hangout.
Everybody knew. Yeah,
a neighborhood hangout. I used to sit there and everybody would hang out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good deal.
But none of the people that are running for county commission have ever created a job. They've never created a job for anybody else. I mean, I'm not talking about maybe they've hired somebody to cut grass for them or something like that, but I'm talking about a job, something economically viable for somebody to pay their bills. So he understands what it takes for a business person to create a job for somebody. None of the other people who are running knows that.
I think it's very important. You know, again, I think that's the other thing that we're lacking in terms of leadership. You know, you got to have the resume to run for office. I mean, too often we get folks that get into office and they OJT, on the job training. So really the first part of that year or so, if they're doing 4 years, it takes them maybe about 2 years to figure out what's going on.
Bruce,
but by that particular time, gee whiz, then they're fighting to run again.
I guarantee you, some of the people who are running for office this year don't want to win.
No.
What they want is to be able to put on their resume, I ran for political office. That's the only reason they're running. There's not everybody running. They're like Donald Trump. I will never believe Donald Trump intended to win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just wake up and go, oh my God, I won.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
That's right.
But
I'll take the same, in all due respect, I'll take the same attitude
Yeah.
because you remember I came here as a Marine recruiter, right?
Yeah.
I came as a Marine recruiter. I knew nothing about Oregon. So naturally, because I knew how to wear those dress blues and this, the other people saying, why don't you run for this, that, and the other. I wasn't ready to run. So the only way I was able to understand what Oregon was about was to run office. So I'd file. So when I filed to run for office, I wanted to make sure I did statewide. I was visiting folks, understanding what Oregon is about. And in all due respect, now today, so it wasn't about a perennial deal. You got to have the background. You got to have the wisdom. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Marine thing to do.
So now today, I mean, because during that particular time, I wasn't out there begging for money.
No.
Because I know when someone gives you money, they want something in return.
Absolutely.
See,
Yes.
and that was not my character. And even to this day, I mean, I don't see anybody knocking on my door. I pay for everything that I got. You got me? And so I think that's very important. That's why my resume is so large, because I've been around. So now I got the wisdom. So a lot of times people call it perennial. It's not perennial. It's called wisdom.
Absolutely.
That's important. You know what I'm saying?
Now, another thing I got to hit you up on.
Yeah, what's up?
Friends, I'm not a big supporter of this, by the way, but Bruce has been on point on this for over 4 years, and that is the Wapato prison being used for the homeless. The first person to publicly talk about Wapato being used for the homeless was Bruce over 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, Loretta Smith was on the county commission, you know, and back then she wasn't too happy about the idea. But she loves it today. And you know why she loves it? 4 years of Bruce lobbying her. So if you like that idea about Wapato, you're literally looking at somebody who was one of the first people to talk. Well, he was the first person to talk about it publicly. Nobody else was. People may have been at home whispering about it or whatever, but nobody came out and nobody lobbied for it.
I might add, though, along that same line, the other guy that was really got me on board was Bernie Gusto.
Yep.
See, Bernie was the sheriff.
Yep.
He wasn't the guy that started it. Dan Sterling did the piece initially. But he was basically came up against, I chatted with him on a number of things. In fact, I did a show with him. We did a show together, and the whole idea, he was telling me what his ideas was about Wapato and the need for it. And he educated me about what the sheriff department's on. In all due respect, they're the housing entity. They're the ones, that's what they do. They house, if you will, and vet. That's when I come up with this vetting concept. The police picks them up, drop them off to the sheriff. They vet them, put them in little stalls and whatever. Goes to the judge, and the judge determines just exactly what crime they've done. Right?
Yep.
Got me? If you've done some heavy crimes, you go down to OSP.
Yep.
You know, if you're a young man, you go down to Pendleton. Yep. If you do small crimes, they got a few beds there.
Yep.
But sometimes what they do, they run out to the point they run out of bed space.
Yep.
So guess what they do? Then the taxpayer has to pick up the deal because they have to rent somewhere else out of town, or if not that, they let them go.
Okay.
Well, see, I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, you know, if they committed a crime, they got to do the time. Okay, so they shouldn't be letting them go. So then Wapato came in, it's sitting there. I mean, it's just right there, ready to go.
Yep.
And then the other thing is that rather than letting people go, you just go on and do your thing. But now we've got this homeless thing, and I remember that because again, like I said, I picked it up when we owned Norma's Kitchen. I saw these folks out on the deal. Got me? I saw the needles. I saw the shoot up, all that other good stuff. And I'm looking at these guys. A lot of these guys, you know, just walked away from their homes, no bills, no nothing. People coming across from Washington, just traveling through, get me? Getting on the weekends, picking up a couple Nikes or something like that. And it was just sad. It was just a tough, we had to change it. We can't continue to do that. And then somebody brought up this big idea of housing. You can't, look here, this is not a quote. The American dream is to own a home. You can't put apples in, it's like water and oil. You don't want to do that. You want to keep that concept of owning a home, working your butt off. But today's mindset is, well, we need the housing. They're using housing in the wrong aspect. You know what I'm saying? They need to pick up all these folks, the areas there, pick up all these folks up, take them down to Wapato or whatever. Homer Williams is now involved in the process also too. The vetting. Same concept that San Diego now is kind of, they've thrown, Channel 6 I think ran a couple of series about saying, and all due respect, we were ahead of that game then. You know, Bernie laid it out, said, look, we need a place. Damage was taken out, developers took it out, and he said, look, we need a place for mental illness. You got me? And the Inverness Jail over here, which I was chairman of the board for a while, and was talking about that whole piece too. It's locally located. The whole idea is that that would become, if you will, mental illness. You got me? With some extra beds, and then Wapato would be the other part. See what I'm saying? So at that point, we were just saying, just keep Wapato as a jail, no problem, because it's already fixed and ready to go. See, but my point is that, now here we sit today, and we still have all these folks out there on the streets. People are scared. I mean, seniors. I mean, anybody.
Now, friends and family in Multnomah County, I want you to think about this. If you like this idea and the way that he's thinking about how to address homeless people and how to get them off the street, get them into a sanitary situation.
Yeah.
Imagine if Bruce had been on the county commission 4 years ago.
It's been done.
You see, none of the county commissioners at the time, had the compassion to come up with a solution. They didn't. I mean, they listened to a lot of people. They weren't mean to nobody, but did they really come up with a solution that avoided what we've got today?
Yeah.
And look at what we've got today.
Oh,
because of the inaction and the poor policy making from the people who've been there before on this issue. Imagine Bruce, and I want you to look at the people he's running against. None of them have got the experience to address this issue like he does. The business side, the development side, and the public funding side. Nobody has any understanding about this that's running against him right now like Bruce does. And I don't want anybody to ever vote for anybody because they're black. You never do that. You never do that. But this is the great opportunity in a town that has not many minorities in politics. You got somebody with this much experience, and guess what? He happens to be black. That's awesome.
Can I add a point to it? That's like right now, for instance, Homer Williams basically got involved in the deal. He was really a developer, an investor type of guy. And as you know, we have Don Maserati. He used to be chairman of PDC, right? He's with Homer.
Good.
Young dude, which
Don's
is
a
great.
very smart man.
Yeah, fantastic. And so now all of a sudden we got a homegrown group now. We got, because Wally Kehoe was the one that picked it up for $5 million. He's an investor, no problem. But what he did,
Mr. Kehoe's a great guy.
But he flipped it with Jordan Snitzer. You see, and so Jordan got involved in the deal, and so now Jordan then he's giving up the deal to Homer. He's thrown that in the pot, if you will. And then you got Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle. So my point is that, and these are all homegrown folks.
Homegrown.
Now they're going to get it done.
People.
And I'll tell you what their mindset is, which I think is a good direction piece. Their thing is, hey, let's just get them out from downtown, which makes sense. Which makes sense. Now they've already established they're going to be building certain, so many units, if you will, downtown, if you will, for homeless folks. But in all due respect, they should be designed such that a person has to have a job. Because when they walk out that door, they got to be buying something. And then when you think about that, well, okay, fine. Well, how do we do it? We got Housing Authority of Portland, right? Housing Authority of Portland. When's the last time we've done an audit of the folks who got in there? See, the name of the game is that they get in there and say, I'm only on welfare, or not necessarily welfare, but I only got a small job. This is how much I make. They give you that rent, and this you base your rent. But the bottom line, a lot of these folks have gone up. They've gone from $30,000 a year to $60,000 or $70,000, even downtown. You read about that stuff.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be in there.
Exactly.
So we need to audit. We need to audit that.
That housing should be set aside for people
exactly. Input to output. Right. See.
And you're saying you would make sure there was audits.
Oh yeah.
To make sure the people who are in that affordable housing deserve to be there because they're economic.
That's right.
Status.
That'll be the first thing. One of the things I do, because we're going to have a new auditor in there. So Marsh is gone. He's going to be gone, and so there's going to be they got a heck of a group that's running for office there.
Now, friends, I want you to think about this. This is one of the reasons why I keep saying the people we vote for tend not to be as progressive as we are. They tend not to be. How come the people we vote for in the past have not done what he's done, what he's talking about doing, and making sure that the affordable housing goes to people who deserve it most?
Yeah.
Why do we have some of these people sleeping in their cars, sleeping in their vans, sleeping in tents?
Right.
Okay, because they can't find affordable housing.
Right.
Where we've got affordable housing that we've developed as taxpayers, paid for as taxpayers, and we may have people who make $100,000 a year living in them. There's nobody minding the store when it comes to affordable housing in Portland, Oregon. And Bruce just said he's going to mind the store.
Oh yeah, big time. In fact, I would put it in the category sheltered homeless housing.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? If you ain't got any money,
Right.
You got me? We're going to be subsidizing. The taxpayers got to subsidize. And look at they're tired. I mean, we're transitioning right now. We got people moving in this town over and over and over, and they got money. They got cash. You got me? So the name of the game, that responsibility goes back on the fact everything goes up. I mean, they got money to pay for it. But the people who are here, homegrown stuff, we need some time to transition that piece.
Exactly.
So the planners are very, very important. And the county works with the city.
Correct.
So in all due respect, someone has to be able to sit at that table with those planners and say, wait a minute, where are the senior citizens? Have we figured out where the seniors are? Where about the people who basically own their homes are having problems? You got my point? And then I'm not saying no to business. I want to high rise anything they want to. But the bottom line, let's make sure we know what the area is so we can transition right. See, see, that's the key. You know, everybody like nice things, but it costs. But we got a new group of folks right here now. They got $1 million in their pocket and say, look here, $500,000 for a house? You got to be kidding me. I'll buy one and rent one. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're in the business.
That's what I do for a living.
That's what you do for a living.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? These
Sell
people
$500,000 homes all the time.
They got cash money in their pocket. They don't have to go to no bank or nothing. And that's a whole new group. And you can't say no to these folks, right? You got me? This is America. You got me? If you got the money, and the same thing with appraisal. You know what the bank is? Hey, if I want $1 million for my house and the bank approves it, guess what? That's the reference for the listing, right?
Correct.
The comp.
Correct.
And then once that starts, everything else goes.
Correct.
And that's what's happening now.
Correct.
That's how we got there.
Correct.
If the bank had said no to the deal, no problem.
Well, the bank can't say no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So now we're in a transition, and I'll be right up front with. I'm at my point in my life. I said, well, really, I could just go back and just sit back and relax and be in my normal. But I said, no, I owe it back. I've been here 40 years on that same concept, and you've been there too.
Yeah.
And so I
Not
just
40
said,
years, just 30.
But 30. See, you still got 10 more to go. But,
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll run in the future because you got that same mindset that I have. And I'm looking to see whether or not more young people will run. Got me? In fact, I got a young man. As soon as we take this break, I'll walk off, and you guys will interview him. But his name is Crockett, and he's going to be Chuck, and he's a young man, and he's running for office.
Okay.
He might be a little rough.
We need more young people running for office.
Yes, sir. And he's there, and I support him along that line. And you know, and if in all due respect, if I win this office, I want to have him on my staff so I can just take his hand and mentor.
You should.
Mentor.
Now, friends, I want you to think about this because I say this all the time. There's a lot of you out there who are watching right now who've thought about running for office. I'm telling you to run if you want to do the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
The reason why we've got these people, and especially these editors and these union leaders, is we don't have enough people out there who step up and push for the changes that we need. We've got the status quo we keep letting sit on top of our heads, and as that weight comes down harder, the people in the bottom third of our community are the ones that suffer the most. And the people that we vote for, they don't care.
Yeah.
If they did care, they would have
Yeah.
already solved many of these problems.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to vote for a guy like Bruce.
Right.
And when you look at yourself, you know, don't be afraid to step up and be a leader. Don't be afraid. Because, friends, we got to break out of this cycle, this endless cycle of electing the same conservative, so-called progressive champions. I have not heard of one person that used that title this year that I would consider a progressive champion. Progressively annoying me is what they are.
Should be term limit. You put that other word in there, term limit.
I don't know about term limits. You know what a good term limit is?
Well, no,
being voted out.
No, if you got
being told get the hell out of here because you suck.
But if you got a good
term limit.
But see, if you got a good idea and you're still working on it, you can run again. But if you don't have no idea, get the hell out. Excuse the French. That's where my head's at.
Yep.
It's a mindset.
You can't cuss in front of D.
You can't do that. I'm not doing that. I will not do it. That's the old Marine coming out of me. No problem.
I know. I know. Look, I keep slipping too.
Look, you guys want to go on and interview this other young man here.
Okay.
He's running for county. He's running for county chair.
Now, what's his name again?
His name Chuck Crawford. Chuck Crawford.
Is he saying your name right? Crockett.
Crockett.
Like Davy Crockett.
David Crockett.
But he's black.
He's black. But my point, in all due respect, I like his enthusiasm and whatever. Sure, he's got a few little rough edges and whatever.
Yeah, he's wearing shorts.
Because young people that we're talking about today, we're constantly saying, where are their mentors? Where are their role models aspect of it? You know, we've gone through this stuff in this community for years.
Yep.
And it's time we step up to the plate.
Yeah.
You step up the plate and let them see the example.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that he understands that. I like the fact that he went up there and fouled. And then right off the bat, if you foul, now if they want to change the criteria and say he shouldn't run, then change that criteria. But right now, he went up there.
Don't give these racist white guys any more ideas. They got enough ideas. They're just not getting enough cancer is the issue. You know, they got too many bad ideas, too many bad plans, and not enough sickness. You know?
Well, look, I'm gonna let Chuck come on over here, okay?
Okay,
right.
Brother Bruce Broussard.
Come on, Chuck.
Brother Bruce Broussard, have a seat for a second if you don't mind.
Okay.
This is Brother Bruce Broussard. I just want to let everybody know this was Bruce Broussard here on the show.
Yeah, put him on here. Put his big face on there.
We're going to put his face on the camera to let people know that this was just Bruce here. And we're praying that you win, and we're praying that you do a wonderful job as you've been doing.
Let's pray that we win. That's the key. The city win, the county win.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's always. Everybody win.
Have a great
Everybody
day.
win.
Everybody gonna win.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Brother Fred.
All right.
And then now we have another.
Okay, you guys, you gonna interview him?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold this
I'm
for.
gonna set this up for Chuck.
Okay, come on, Chuck.
I'm gonna set you up, Chuck.
Now, friends, this is why I came on the show today. How you doing, man? Nice to meet you. It's just so we
How are
could
you doing?
learn more about Bruce and what he has to offer. You know, as you all know, I've run for office before, and I gotta tell you, being a minority and running for office, stepping into room after room full of white people who you know are not as progressive as they say they are.
Right.
Because, you know, ask any black person. We can tell when we look in your eyes sometimes, are you cool or you're not cool? And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of non-cool people who get to tell you who you get to vote for. Well, young man, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Fred Stewart.
Chuck Crockett.
Chuck Crockett.
Nice to meet you.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
29? I mean, you were born in what, 89?
88.
88?
Yeah.
Well, that was the year I got married. That wasn't a good year. That wasn't a good year. Are you from Portland?
No, I'm from LA.
Oh, you're from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you made it alive to come back to Portland?
Oh, man.
You got a lot to talk about.
I mean, I've been in Portland for 16 years, so I've been here for a while.
Still, dude, a lot of black guys don't make it out of L.A.
That's true.
So, which high school did you go to?
I went to Madison, Jeff,
Okay.
and POIC.
Oh, you did? Where'd you graduate from?
I graduated from POIC.
PILC?
Yeah,
Cool.
PILC.
I don't mind you from leaving Madison or Jeff, just joking. I went to Cleveland.
Oh,
I
did you?
graduated from Cleveland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you should have gone there. You would have graduated there.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah, you probably would have graduated there. Good school.
It's more academic over there. That's
Yeah.
kind of what made me leave Jeff, and Madison was kind of more like a fashion show.
Oh, we're
and
on the
weird
air, so I like just to go ahead and get started.
Oh, I thought we were already on there.
Yeah, we are. So
Oh,
please.
okay. So what do you do for a living?
stuff. I'm actually a medical marijuana grower.
Lucky you. And you haven't been arrested?
No, I keep my license and everything. I say on top of everything, I make sure it don't slip.
You're the first black guy I've met that's in the game. Oh my God. So you're actually in the medical marijuana business.
Yeah, I go.
That's good. How long you been doing that?
I'm doing that for about 3 years.
Is it successful?
Yeah, actually, it's helping me go into real estate. That's kind of where I'm transferring to right now.
Oh,
is real
you'll
estate.
love that.
Oh yeah, I heard you talk about the real estate.
Yeah, no,
so
you'll love that.
Yeah.
How many employees you got?
Right now, just 2. Me and the other owner own it half with Dorothy Wickersham.
Wow, man. You got 2 employees.
It's just,
You got a business, and you got 2 employees.
yeah, I mean, it's really kind of simple. You know, it's just more like gardening. So you know, there's two other women involved, so they just kind of stick with the
Dude,
gardening.
most guys
kinda in
your
their way.
age have never created 1 job, let alone 2. That's good.
So I'm trying to create more. You know, going into real estate, I'll be able to offer more jobs, hopefully thousands of jobs and homes too. So
Now, you decided to run for county chair.
Yeah.
What made you decide to run for county chair?
just watching the county, you know what I mean? Watching, you know, the oversight from the city too. You watch the government on both tiers of what's going on in the city and just around the city. And I didn't just want to go and just become part of it. I want to go and actually lead it in a different direction. So that's what made me go. A lot of people think I ran because, you know, Loretta Smith got called the B word by
I know Loretta.
Kofri. And
I
that's
know
not what
Deborah.
did it. You know, that I filed for office before that. A lot of people don't know
good.
that. So I
'Cause I'm
filed
gonna
way
say,
before that.
I like both of them. I know both of them, and depending on what's going on, they both can be bitches.
I mean,
You know what I'm talking about? But
mean,
they're both very good people. They're both very good leaders.
oh yeah, you know, they try to do their job to the best of their abilities. You know, they may fall short in areas, but you know, everybody basically has their agenda that they try to carry out. So
Well, one of the things I'm happy about you running is one of the reasons people like them fall short is they don't get challenged enough. So I'm very happy you're challenging them. I hope you're running hard against them. I want Deborah to think, I may lose to this man.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Honestly, she's been getting a lot of help. You know, I've been contacting the newspapers and so on and so forth. That's why they haven't interviewed me. A lot of newspapers.
Dude, you're black.
They're just like, oh, and we're not even going to entertain.
Most of these white guys, if their daughter brought a black kid to school, we got a black guy home, the cops are going to get called. So they're not going to call you back. You know, they're not going to call you back. You know, they'll call a white person who's just stepping in for the first time, getting their toes feet, but they're not going to call you. So what are you doing to get your name out? What are you doing to meet people and let them know who you are?
Actually, I just go around, you know, talking to people, letting them know. I try not to do the traditional, you know, put a sign up or do the big campaign or have events where you have people come and give you their money. I don't need that. You know, I got my own money, so I don't need people to just go funnel their money.
Yeah, sell them drugs.
They want to donate. Want to donate money. That's fine. But you know, I kind of do it a kind of a new age way because you know.
Going to the neighborhood associations?
Yeah, I go to neighborhood associations, but I try to keep it, you know, more personal so that they know it's not here for campaign. I'm here as a person. You know, meeting another person. I'm not trying to do a campaign thing, so I'm not here to campaign you or doing it. I'm here to actually see how you're doing as a person and how I can help.
What are the main issues you have about the county? What are the 3 top things you want your leadership to address if you were elected to the county?
I think the leadership needs to address the discipline in the county. That's probably the first thing. They need to address the policy, and they need to address how the funds are spent.
Okay.
So I have to agree with Bruce, you know, about an audit. That audit is so necessary in so many different ways. You know, they feel like there's royalty contracts. Basically, people have gotten contracts or grants for so long that they just give it to them, and there's no reason. They don't even have proof that the programs work at all. So, you know, that audit needs to happen. So those are my 3 things. That
is very true. That's a big problem. That so-called progressive champions let happen all the time.
Oh man.
you know, your program ain't working. But we're going to blow more money with you.
Basically, nobody wants to say they failed.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to act like, it just needs a little work. You know, sometimes you fail. You got to admit when you failed. So.
Exactly. Now, what did your family think about you running?
Actually, I have an uncle who worked in the district. His name is Carl Goodman.
Okay.
He worked in the district and everything. He worked for the city of Portland. So
he
actually helped make the African American program, the probation program.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, outstanding.
So definitely. So I actually.
So you've got a little history. You got somebody to talk to about policy and stuff that's actually done it.
I got you. I actually got to see it firsthand, you know, whenever construction of the program and everything. And I actually was in that program, you know, when I got into my situation as an adult. You know what I mean? So.
Well, young guy. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about this. So you got a couple of situations growing up too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, gangs, everything. And then as an adult, I got, you know, a domestic violence charge that got me locked up in prison. So.
Well, you got out of it. You grew out of it.
Oh, yeah, you grow out of it. You know, you make mistakes and you learn from them. The people that make mistakes and don't learn from the people that don't have anything in life.
Willamette Week literally has a business relationship with Backpage.com until it was seized by the federal government. Now think about it. They dealt with pimps on a national scale.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So people can forgive Willamette Week for dealing with every pimp and drug dealer and child molester, you know, that they've dealt with.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, the city can forgive you as long as you don't do it no more.
Oh, no, I'm actually, one of the things I wanted to do was actually advocate more money for women and not just women, but men too that go through the situation. I want to actually get to the root cause of that because a lot of people don't know that there's a root cause to everything.
What's the root cause?
I think the root cause to domestic situations is communication. That's honestly what it is. You know, one person, she runs out of words, you run out of words. You guys fail to communicate at one point, and then it starts to get violent or physical. One person feels they're not heard. You know, and people's emotions are serious. And nobody's playing about how they feel. You know, especially when you're trying to communicate with somebody you love, and that's where I feel like it fails. And there's other thing that factors into, like, you know, financially, you know, I mean, living situation, your housing, you know, food and all that other stuff. But I think communication is the biggest.
How would the county, you think, could step in and help that? I mean, I think that what you're talking about is a good idea, but how do you see the county stepping in and addressing what you just said? I
think they should remove the criminal aspect of domestic violence that's not serious, like, you know what I mean, where there's serious domestic crimes where, you know, you bleed bloody and shit like that. They can remove that. And even on that aspect, I think that they should involve, you know, a community. And not just a community, you know, you can have psychiatrists, you know, relationship coaches and so on and so forth, counselors. You know, I work with Joan Sharon in domestic violence class, and I would recommend her for anybody. You know, it's just that communication barrier. Because, you know, anybody getting their brain woken up to something can change them. So I think that even, you know, a person that's been a woman beater his whole life or a woman that's been a man beater her whole life can change if they can get the right communication skills to get what they're trying to get. That's right.
Man, I think that is very, Very good. Very good thinking. And I don't think we've heard anybody talk like that. You're coming from experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talking from experience about how to fix a problem. You know, nobody I think you're running against talk like that.
Oh no, I mean, everybody's just kind of doing their own little run along.
So do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, I have actually a Facebook website.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
It's Chuck Crockett for Multnomah County Chair.
Okay. Say that with pride. Say it again. Come on.
Chuck Crockett for Multnomah County.
Exactly,
Chair,
man. You're running.
So. Yeah.
What do you call it? Do you have a phone number people can contact you at?
Yeah, actually, all the information is on the thing.
No, say it.
You can contact me at 503-519-0815. That's how you contact my director.
Yep.
We get just directly, so you know you're talking to one of us directly.
Yeah. Now, what's her name?
Her name's Dorothy Wickersham.
Okay, good.
And then you can also contact us at her email at Donna Wick, which is DANAWICK 78@gmail.com.
Outstanding, man. No, man, when you talk about this, talk about with pride, man. You're doing something very few black people have done. There's 30,000 black people in Portland right now. Probably since 1859, there's been maybe 700,000 black people that have come through Portland, called Portland home. And out of 700,000, I don't think we've had more than 10, maybe 15 black people run for your position. It's extremely rare.
Oh yeah, you know.
So when you're out there running and sharing your ideas, you know, you're making history and you're giving Portland an opportunity to change in a good direction. Okay?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, say that. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, push the line, you know, change things, you know. So I know that me being here, that's going to spark the people that are in power right now, you know, that's going to make them change things that they're doing, because they're like, oh, if he's running and he's challenging me in a way that I need all the help that I'm getting in the world right now, where I'm literally got everybody on my side, because they can clearly see that I can't beat him straight up, then yeah, they're going to change.
Just remember, everybody that vote for you, whether you win or lose, they're counting on you.
Oh yeah.
Okay? That's an investment into you.
Oh,
so no matter how many votes you get, be thankful and make sure you thank everybody for it, okay?
Oh, I always do.
Now, I was going to ask you about this. What do you call it? Do you have any kids? Tell us about your family.
No, I don't have any kids right now.
Okay.
I'm not married or anything.
Well, that'll change now. People are going to get to see you.
So, yeah.
You know, think about it. Thousands of single women in Portland get to see you. Thousands.
So yeah, I mean, I don't get the normal, you know, approach I say as mother men do, because like I said, I'm more dressed like sporty, more hood. So
don't worry. I dressed kind of like you when I was 29 too. No, I didn't. I wore jeans, tight jeans. You know, I dressed clearly late 80s. No, so do you have a mom, dad living in Portland here?
Oh yeah, my mom lives in Portland. She lives in the Woodline area.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, she's had her house there since before they gentrificated everything. So that's where we've been at for the last 16
I'm glad
years.
you said before they and not me. Keep telling me I gentrificated Woodlawn. No, I didn't gentrificate Woodlawn, but people keep blaming me. But because I've sold a lot of houses over there.
Oh, did you?
A ton of houses. What do you call it? Father live in town?
Oh no, my father lives in L.A.
He does?
Yeah.
You ever come up and visit?
No.
No, he doesn't? Okay. What about brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got brothers. I got a brother. He's pretty famous, in Charles Crockett, and I got a brother, Anthony Bell, and another brother, Anthony Young.
Hey, I got Anthony. You got two Anthonys?
Yeah.
My brother is named Anthony.
Oh really?
Yeah. We call him Tony.
I'm the youngest of the top generation.
You do?
You know, I got brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of our, you know, first generation.
And most of them are here in Portland?
Yeah, most of them.
Are they all helping you with the campaign?
No.
They're not?
No, some of them are too busy.
Doing what?
With their families, you know. So, you know, one of them is in Washington, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, some are other states, so they be.
He drives.
So.
They drive. They should be down there helping a brother.
Okay.
Literally helping a brother.
You know, they got kids and, you know, wife and stuff. So
drag their kids down. Drag their wives down.
Oh, you know.
No, tell them when I meet them, I'm gonna need an excuse. A better one. A better one. A better one.
The ones that are here, they help, though.
Oh, good. Good, man. So, from here, where are you going to go to next? Where can people who've seen you on this, where can they see you for the next few days? Where are some of the places you're going to show up at?
Well, actually, my friend Swiggle, he's a rapper. He made the, you know, F. Ted Wheeler song, whatever. So.
I remember that song.
Yeah, he's the one that made this song.
Did he make you a song?
No, he hasn't made me a song. I told him
what's wrong with him?
You know, so.
Tell him he's got to make you a song. Next time you do this, He's got to make you a song. That was actually, I mean, I know Ted. Ted's a nice guy, but that was that. I bet even Ted liked that song.
Oh yeah. So we're doing actually doing a movie on gentrification. So that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah.
Don't put me in it.
Oh, files go with files, you know what I mean? But we're doing it more with gentrification and the culture, and everything, how the culture has shifted and how the influence of people that say they like the culture and people that are stepped in and out of the culture, you know what I mean? So it's just all around observing Portland history instead of kind of include, California, Seattle, and other areas of Portland. It's going to actually focus on Portland and the timelines of Portland, from Vanport all the way on.
I was just joking. If you guys want to ask me any questions about it, let me know.
Oh, definitely.
I've sold more houses in Northeast Portland than anybody, so feel free.
That's good. It's nice to know, man. Success, man. That's good. It's stories. I like hearing from people's success stories
Yeah.
in real estate.
Yeah, no, I grew up here. Good. I grew up in Northeast Portland.
So.
And, had family in the Vanport, had it all.
Oh, nice.
Had it all. Now, are there any campaign stops you're going to make? Is there any place, joint, candidate fairs or anything like that you're going to be going to within a few days?
Well, when they invite me, like Sharon Maxwell, Deborah Harris, I do go to Deborah Harris because I respect Deborah Harris, and just like Bruce said, if she was doing it, I would. We would bring each other in. We're running it together as a group. That's one thing that we are doing. We're not running alone. A lot of people think we're running alone. We're running together.
Well, you're not running against each other.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we're running as a group. But as far as the campaign thing, what I am going to do is I'm going to be releasing a whole bunch of information videos on my Facebook page that has to do with the whole campaign and all the facts behind the campaign and everything, and just information that people really, really want to know. Because anybody that looks at my page, because that's kind of what I stick to, I want people to know this is based off information. So when I'm talking to people and when people meet me, and they know that there's actual real information and statistics and facts to go to stand by me, which a lot of these other candidates don't have. I know Bruce has it. I know, Sharon has it, but I want them to know that these are just all facts. So when you hear me talking, I'm not just talking to try to promise you something. I'm talking from experience, and I'm talking from what's actually been done and where things can go.
Well, man, no matter how this campaign goes, whether you win or lose, I hope you don't melt away. That's the other problem that we have in the black community is even when we do get good people who will step up and say, let me have an opportunity, they don't know how to handle when they don't get it. I hope you don't go away if you lose. If you win, I hope you follow through in everything you said.
Oh, no.
Everything you said.
I never go away. Like they said, the city of Portland knows. I never go away.
Because you got to remember, every vote you get, that's an investment.
Oh, yeah.
In you.
Oh, yeah. And I let people know, I'm not here just for my own purpose. I'm doing this for the people. You know what I mean? Not just for black people, but for everybody, because everybody is impacted in every single way of the government being involved. The government may, lean towards a specific race of people, but it impacts everybody. So I want everybody to know, I'm here trying to actually change things for the better. It's not just a personal.
We're only as good as the people we vote for. And like I tell people, the people we vote for are not as progressive as we are. Anyway, hey, I guess I got to shut my suck. Stop asking questions to this great young man here. Cecil, I think it's time to turn it back over to you.
Popo Community for Justice, and God Almighty we trust. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett, and I want to thank all you people out there in TV land to have these wonderful people on today.
Thank
Brother
you,
Fred, and what was your name again?
Chuck Crockett.
Chuck Crockett. And please, you're running right now. He's looking for votes. So I think the voting will start on the 14th of this month. So Chuck Crockett's running, and as well as Brother Bruce Broussard. And we just interviewed Bruce Broussard. So you people have a wonderful day, and get your names of the people that you're voting for and your list of people that you're voting for. Thanks again, Brother Frank. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Have a blessed one. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Go ahead and talk.
Oh, hey, guys. Thank you for spending time with us today so we could talk to Bruce, talk to this young man who's running against Deborah Kafoury. Very dynamic young man, and he's doing what I've been telling all of you to do. Don't wait for people like me and others to run for office. Run yourself.
Right.
Okay, we need more people in. These people are taking us for granted.
Right.
And I tell you, I meet people and I talk to people every day about Portland, and you'd be surprised how many people I say, you could do this job too.
Yes.
You've got what it takes. Don't be afraid. And if you're black, do not let these racist white SOBs in our media and our union heads scare you.
Right.
Go
Absolutely.
and confront these people. Look them in the face and let them know you're there to lead.
Yes.
You are not going to let them intimidate you.
How'd you work that, Fred?